This FYF Sports, man, it's Lamont. We are back with some breaking news out of the NBA. We have a big-time trade that's happening. It actually just happened, reported by Adrian Wojnarowski. Let's go ahead and get straight to the details. Adrian Wojnarowski reported that Boston is sending all-star point guard Kemba Walker and the 16th pick in this year's NBA draft and the 2025 second-round selection to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Al Horford, Moses Brown, and a 2023 second-round pick. The teams announced this deal Friday morning. It's highly unusual for any trade to happen before next week's NBA Combine, let alone one this significant, but Brad Stevens has a long-standing relationship with Thunder general manager Sam Presti, and this deal accomplishes key objectives for both franchises. Right now, when we look at this trade, the Boston Celtics get a significant financial flexibility, especially with regards to their cap space in making this move. Kemba Walker was owed close to about $73 million. Bringing in Al Horford, he's only owed about $50 million. If they keep him in that second year the second year and the last year of his deal, he'll be paid in total about $54 million. So again, this flexibility gives them the cap space to maybe re-sign free agent guard like Evan Fournier, or maybe go out into the free agent market and find pieces that they can add to this roster. It does create a logjam at the center position. You have Christian Thompson, you have Robert Williams, now you have Al Horford. Now you have a logjam at that center spot. But, you know, having a multitude of players at that position, although it can be a bit of a headache, is not necessarily the worst problem in the world, because you have a young player in Robert Williams who you could possibly move to bolster this roster, or maybe you could consider moving the contract of Tristan Thompson, who ultimately this year was a disappointment. He didn't pan out to being the center that they thought he would be, to help get, give them that interior boost, especially defensive in the post. Now they moved Daniel Tice to Chicago, so they did lose him, but they still have that issue at the center spot. I want you guys, let me know what you think about this trade. We have Kemba Walker. Again, Kemba Walker, a 2021 first-round pick. And again, remember what OKC is doing. OK has now amassed 18 first-round picks over the next 7 years. Sam Presti and that team over there, they're doing a good job of they're working to build a young core around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. In this particular trade, I definitely give the Oklahoma City Thunder, I give them an A- in this particular deal. I give them an A- because they're continuing the trend of doing what they do best. That's acquiring draft stock, and they're going to be looking to hit big in this draft. They could potentially have 2 top 5 picks in this year's NBA draft, and this year's NBA draft is actually projected to be one of the best draft classes in NBA history with some of the talent that's coming in. So we definitely got to give the Oklahoma City Thunder an A for this move. And Presti hit a home run when he moved Chris Paul, when he moved Carmelo Anthony. When they move Kelly Oubre, they're amassing all of these first round picks. They're going to eventually be able to build an all-star talented team down there in OKC. Now, how it pans out, how it actually works out once they get those young guys, we don't know. But now they have the stock, they have the cap space to essentially do whatever they want to boost this roster. For this particular trade with the Celtics, this is Brad Stevens. This is his first move as the president of basketball operations for the Celtics. He's only held his role for about 2 weeks. I would have to give them a C+ for this trade. Now, does Horford fit in with Boston's system? Yes, he does fit in. He's played there before. He understands what they're trying to do. But again, as I mentioned earlier, this move does create that logjam at the center spot that Boston's going to have to address. They're going to have to address. They're not going to be able to run 3 centers. They're going to have to figure out. They're going to have to at least move one of those guys, maybe before or after the draft. But Horford does bring that veteran presence defensively and offensively that they sorely missed this year. I just think when they had him the first time around, that the contract that he had and what he was bringing into the team, it just didn't equate to the value that they thought they would be getting. So I cannot wait to see how the Celtics look to evolve this roster around Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. It looks like they're going to be active in free agency with regard, or possibly active in signing a lot of their own guys. But does this move ultimately address the primary issue with this Boston Celtics team, and that was depth on the bench? You know, does it give them the cap flexibility to maybe go out and add a point guard like Jalen Brunson, who's going to be a free agent? And there are a number of other players out there on the free agent market. Is it going to be a move that's going to help them gain depth on that bench? When they went to that bench last year, there really wasn't much there. Romeo Langford came on as late in the season. You know, he's dealt with a myriad of injuries. Carson Edwards has never broken to the rotation. Peyton Pritchard ultimately fell out of the rotation. I mean, even when you talk about a guy like Robert Williams, who defensively looked like a monster, he dealt with injuries throughout the year as well. And his ability to stay available for this Boston Celtics team just was very inconsistent. Similar issues with Tristan Thompson as well. So I have to give Brad Stevens about a C+ on this move. There are a lot of financial benefits to the move, to making this move. It is backwards lateral. Remember, this is a guy that they had on this roster a year ago. But they had to get this contract, Kemba Walker's contract, off the books. They made the move. They made the move early, so now they have the entire summer to work to boost and bolster this roster. I cannot wait to see what OKC does with all of these draft picks as well. When are they going to cash in? The question that everybody is going to be asking about the Oklahoma City Thunder is, when are they going to cash in on all these picks? We know that in this potential draft, could it be this draft? Are they going to cash in if they can snag a Cade Cunningham and maybe another top player in this draft? You know, if they can bring in Jalen Green, Cade Cunningham all in once, you know, what can they do to capitalize on all these draft picks? Because we saw this same scenario play out in Boston, where they had all these draft picks, but ultimately they held on them just a bit too long, and it really didn't turn into the value that they thought it would turn into. So again, I think OKC, they're going to have some tough decisions to make. I like what they're doing, but they have to be smart with these draft picks, and they have to cash in on them and capitalize on them immediately. They cannot wait too long, because these picks will lose value. And if they draft the wrong guys, and if they don't move those guys at the right time, those guys could devalue themselves quickly. So again, Boston Celtics with the trade. Kemba Walker is now leaving the Boston Celtics. He's headed to Oklahoma City. I did not believe that Oklahoma City is going to hold on to that contract. I believe that they may look to buy out that contract, as we saw this past year. And he could be with another contending team, whether it's mid-season or before the season. Maybe they can look to move his contract, similar to how they moved Kelly Oubre and some of these other players, and just maybe try to acquire more first-round draft picks. There are some teams out there that desperately need a point guard. When we're looking at the Knicks have a lot of cap space. They're looking to turn their year around next year. Maybe they absorb that cap, absorb all that money that Kemba Walker has, and just bring him on for some draft picks. But you never know. But I like the direction that OKC's going. Things are going to really reveal themselves for OKC after the draft. And then when we have Boston, I really cannot wait to see what they do with the Boston, as far as building around Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Moses Brown, he's also another key piece in this trade. This guy, a lot of people don't know him. He was a center for Oklahoma City. He came on late in the season. He showed a lot of potential. Moses Brown is actually a really good center. But again, when you're taking on two centers, you have Al Horford and Moses Brown. Again, what does that mean for the centers on the roster for the Celtics? Are you going to be able to move Tristan Thompson's contract? Are teams going to bite on the Robert Williams bait, even though he showed a lot of promise? He's a bit of an undersized big. If I had to choose between Moses Brown and Robert Williams, I would lean more towards Moses Brown because of the offensive upside that he brings. But again, having this many bigs is not necessarily a bad problem. I mean, because you're choosing between a lot of great young talent and a lot of great veterans. So they just have to make a decision on which way they want to go forward. Also, they have to figure out who's going to be coaching this team. What's the coaching style? Which of these centers favor that particular coach's coaching style. You know, if they bring in a Chauncey Billups, if they bring in a Sam Cassell, you know, what center are they going to favor? That's also going to play in a role in the direction that they go with these centers. So Adrian Rosenrowski with the breaking news. Kemba Walker to the Oklahoma City Thunder for Al Horford, Moses Brown, and picks. And man, the NBA offseason has started for some teams earlier than we're used to seeing, but it definitely has started. So make sure you guys let me know in the comments, what do you think about this trade? How does it benefit the Celtics? How does it benefit the OKC Thunder? What team gets the most out of it? Again, I like what both teams are doing. They've started early. Kemba, you know, rumors came out last week that Kemba wanted out of Boston. They did a good job of going ahead and moving that contract when they had the opportunity. And OKC seems to be that team where if you have a player that's making more money that he probably deserves, he's older, dealing with injury, they seem to be that team that's willing to take on that player's contract as long as you're willing to ante up and give them some first-round draft picks to compensate them for their time. And they've done a really good job of not just holding on to these aging veterans. They've been able to either buy them out and move them on to other places or even potentially trade them. So I like what OKC's doing. I'm curious to see what they do in this particular situation. And I'm curious to see where Kemba Walker ultimately lands, because I don't believe he's going to be playing basketball in an OKC jersey next season. But again, let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about this trade, the future of both teams, and then the future of the NBA in 2022. So smash the like, hit the subscribe, fill up those comments with your thoughts. Hey, this is FYF Sports, man. We're going to be back with more breaking news later. We're also going to have another NBA playoff live stream tonight, so tune into that as well. But it's FYF Sports, and we out.
Trendsetter, I got style for you. Ain't seen you at the top, it's been a while for you. Big you up and they look down on you. Take one loss, no one's around for you. I won't stop, no, 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 no. I won't stop, I won't stop. I won't stop, no, 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 no. I won't stop, I won't stop. Yeah. I'm so handsome. All in Carmine's with my Benz, I'm so fancy. No romancing. Got my baby and she right, she make you vanish. No time to play, got book dates. Had a plan, only had to wait. Always knew I'd make a way. Send a bill, they send a pay. Keep it real, keep the record straight. Keep it real, no time to fake. All authentic in my own lane. I am me till I'm in the grave. Trendsetter, I got style for you. Ain't seen you at the top, it's been a while for you. Big you up and they look down on you. Take one loss, no one's around for you. I won't stop, no, 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 no. I won't stop, I won't stop. I won't stop, no, 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 no. I won't stop, I won't stop. Ooh, never panic. Get a worry, send it up and then it vanish. Yeah, I can't stand it. Out of all the way you move it, see you scrambling. On offense, no defense. Still strong, no weakness. Used to say I wouldn't beat this. Now they wish they could beat this. Tables set, now tables turn. Guys playing, don't say a word. Know the price, cause I know my worth. My time, get what I deserve. Trendsetter, I got style for you. Ain't seen you at the top, it's been a while for you. Big you up and they look down on you. Take one loss, no one's around for you. I won't stop, no, 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 no. I won't stop, I won't stop. I won't stop, no, 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 no. I won't stop.